What are the skills? What are the behavioral traits that you need to develop? Because communication is both a skill and a behavioral competency. It's both behavioral and skill-based competency. So when you look at it from a skill-based competency perspective, these are some of the traits that are required to hone that skill, to build that skill of effective communication. The first one being observance. Very important. Have you observed your environment? Whom are you sending the message to? How are you sending it? What are you sending? What are you truly trying to communicate? You know, like they say, 9 thoughts to one word. But we're in a business environment. We've got to say what we have to say. Information, data has to be shared. So observance, clarity and brevity. Preciseness is the word actually. That's what brevity means. Brevity means conciseness. How concise and clear are you? Listening comes back. Listening and understanding. Because please remember, communication is a cycle between a sender and a receiver. It is not just about you. It's about the other as well. Your message has to be understood by the other. There is a receiver who is there. Emotional intelligence. I'd like to pause here for a moment. All the other traits somewhere are connected to this emotional intelligence. What is EI? I'm sure we have some inkling, or some of us may be knowing what emotional intelligence actually means. Emotional intelligence is how you manage your and the emotions of the other. It's just that. It's as simple as that. But while it's that simple, it is a very, very important, and I have this beautiful little write-up that I have, which is recently, there's been a lot of talk about EI because we lost some very, amazing artists here in India during this pandemic period, very senior, veteran artists and celebrities, and one of them was a very, very sad case of suicide, and there was a lot of talk about EI happening. And this beautiful article came to me on how EI and AI, which is AQ, emotional intelligence is also called EQ, emotional quotient. So you have your IQ, you have your EQ, and you have something called AQ. AQ is your adversity quotient, how sensitive you are, or how do you manage your self and others during times of adversity. It's a beautiful concept, and it's so pertinent keeping today's time in mind. So EI has a very, very strong connection to communication skills. And I think most of the other traits and behaviors are connected to emotional intelligence. Self-efficacy. Because the next one is self-confidence, so self-efficacy is definitely not self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Self-efficacy is nothing but self-worth. As simple as that. I know I created quite a suspense, but then that's what it is. How
Mm.
worthy do you consider yourself? Because if you don't, it has been observed and it has been known that it has an impact on your communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are looking at effective communication skills. So if the self worth and as a behavior, as a trait, as a competency is not observed for whatever reasons it may be, it has an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Self-confidence, very closely connected. And it's very closely, Mudrika, to you said efficiency, yes. Because when you have a high sense of self-worth, you will be efficient. Because these behaviors and traits are kind of inbuilt. You know, there are sub traits and traits which are closely connected. Rarely would you meet somebody with a high sense of self-worth who's not efficient in their own unique ways. Probably they will be efficient and they will be effective. It leads to it. So respectfulness, I think, yeah, I mean, so taken for granted. You know,
Yeah,
I feel that the simple word there is, sometimes I feel, you know, that it's losing its sense of meaning in today's
2 days, yeah.
times. Yeah. Basic respectfulness, and especially in a business environment. I mean, not that there are any excuses in any other environment. Don't get me wrong there. But then we're talking about, we are wearing the lens of business interactions right now as well. So respect is prime, is paramount. It's the base of all human relationships. There can be no relationship without respect. A healthy relationship. It's very simple. It's not complicated. So very, very important to be able to lead people, to be able to influence people, to be able to uh, run organizations, be a team member. Respect is very important. Non-verbal communication is again your soft skills. Selection of the right medium. So very important. While you're clear about what is it that you want to communicate and why do you want to communicate, how are you communicating? You know, I've been part of, and probably something that even you have experienced, you know, where,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in teams, there tends to be, you know, where you have team members who probably, or probably in your past experience, current, or you've heard of situations where, you know, team members, when you're operating as a team, there are multiple sensitivities. Each person is coming with their own sensitivity. So choosing the right medium, if you have to give feedback to a particular, let's say, ex team member or ex employee of your organization or partner or consultant, you will customize it, keeping their sensitivities, keeping situation, keeping everything in mind. So the right medium is very important. Sometimes it's a mail. Sometimes a simple mail just does it. So providing feedback, because it's a two-way thing, right? When you're communicating, it's two-way. It's not one way. There will be a response. There will be a response in the form of a of a mail, a message, how do you give feedback? How do you respond back? Important. So these slides here, quickly, we've spoken about each one of them.